Hey there guys, and welcome to Factorio 1.1. I'm Xterminator, and thank you for joining me. And it is finally out, the next big update, and this is actually bigger than Factorio 1.0 was in terms of actual features and additions and changes. So I'm super excited to bring this to you guys so soon after 1.02 or 1.0 as well. In the grand scheme of things. And the first thing you'll notice is we are in the main menu here, and one of the big things is instead of the static image that was in the main menu, they've now added basically simulations of, scenes and factories. You can see a really funny one here, the engineer chasing after the biter. There's scenes of combat and, oh, this is great. I love this so much. So this is just really nice, kind of more immersion and intriguing and stuff like that. Now, a quick note before we get more into things is this is an experimental version. So if you do want to play it and you're on Steam, you'll need to go into your properties of the game and into the betas section and make sure you select the experimental version. However, I definitely recommend backing up your saves and stuff first because it could break stuff. It also does seem to break most... I'm laughing at this, what's happening in the background. It does break most mods as well, it seems like. So just keep that in mind too. If you play standalone, you'll need to download that on its own. So there you go. This is pretty awesome in the main menu. Really, really nice. I think it's great. Now let's hop into the actual game, shall we? And show you guys some of the new stuff. And there's a lot. There's some awesome stuff, some things that we didn't even know about were coming, and things we've requested for a long time. So first off, it's at night, and you'll notice a few things. That things just, look a little bit different, I suppose. Like the furnaces look really nice, and centrifuges, example, look quite nice and stuff like that. So when these work, these actually do look really quite nice as well, which I'll show you here. And then like trains, the headlights on trains actually work now. You can see this, it just has a really nice, it actually like each part of it glows green instead of just kind of a weird greenish like emitting thing from it, how it used to be. So playing at night actually is not too bad. And if we hop on the train and actually drive, you can see the headlights actually work, which they did not before. So this is really awesome. And, normally I don't do these videos when it's nighttime out, but this does make it much nicer. So in terms of some other big features, there are a lot. The first one is with Spidertron. And Spidertron is a new vehicle in 1.0. And it was awesome. It is awesome, but it was kind of lacking up until this point, and they've pretty much entirely fixed that. First thing, if we go in, it actually has logistic request slots now, which is awesome. So before there was no way to kind of auto-load it with materials and stuff like that, and now there is. And I'm not really demonstrating this because it works literally exactly like your own personal ones. So you would, turn this on and off, request, it will pull from the network exactly like it does for your character. Which is fantastic. This is so nice. In addition, it now actually shows the amount of ammo it has in the GUI there on the right. Previously, it did not, and this was a complaint of mine because, you didn't know how much ammo it had, if you needed to call it back to refill, or if you could keep doing combat or building, because it can kind of act as a mobile builder and such. So this is really nice to be able to have this ability now to see that. There are some other really big features with this, though. One of which being that you can now queue commands for the Spidertron. So you can set waypoints and patrol points, basically, in queue commands. Now, to my knowledge, there's not a way to do this, like, infinitely, so you couldn't necessarily have it just patrol infinitely in a section, but you can queue commands. So, one new thing to show, this is not queuing the command, but this, there is kind of a new indicator, just a line here that kind of shows where it's going. It does show on the map view as well, which is nice. But if you want to queue commands, it's very intuitive. By default, you hold Shift and do it, and then this will queue up commands. And I don't know if there's a limit. I haven't really tried to surpass a limit. Obviously, it goes fairly high, as you can see here. And this is awesome. So this will just let you queue Spidertron movement and such. Now, what's interesting, another thing in addition to this, is you are able to, in 1.1, have Spidertrons follow any other entity. So this has some interesting uses. You could have it potentially follow trains. You could have it follow another Spidertron, which is what I'm going to show you. So you could even have it follow yourself potentially. So you do this by holding Control and then left click. So let's see if it works on me. And you can see it does. So I'm running, and so if you want a Spidertron to just follow you around and stuff, this is fantastic. And to cancel it, you could just click somewhere else. If I want it to follow another Spidertron, I can go ahead and take a remote and get this guy, have him maybe go over here, and then take this, and you can see he's following. I misclicked, but he is following, and he will go up to, right up next to this guy. He obviously stopped, and we can see if this is going to continue. So it does actually continue until you literally tell it to do something else. So you could just kind of have these guys in a Congo line or an army. This is kind of a makeshift way to have like an army or a whole selection. So this is really awesome, guys. So many Spidertron improvements. Another huge improvement, which we didn't know was coming at all, is you can now vertically and horizontally flip or mirror blueprints. There's been mods for this, so many mods throughout the years, and this is something that's never been in vanilla, and you can now do it. And this is huge. Now, there is a little caveat. There are blueprint types and stuff that aren't supported, unfortunately. So, like, rail stuff seems to not work, which is unfortunate, because that's one you would really wish it would work on, potentially. Excuse me, but I have some stuff to test here. So, we have this blueprint right here. Now, if I just hit R, it's just going to rotate kind of how it rotates normally. However, if I hit F, you can see it's swapping it here. And then this swaps it kind of the other way. So you'll notice this is actually different than that. So this swaps it that way, opposed to swapping it this way. And then I can kind of go back and forth however I want. So now I'm hitting F and stuff like that. So F is for horizontal, G is for vertical. You can change those to whatever you'd like. But this is so awesome. So you can now do this with many things. Some things you cannot. So if I blueprint this, for example, hit F, you can see it's swapping the chests, the power poles, and the long-handed inserters over to the other side. If I hit G, it's completely flipping it, which is super nice, actually, because I can kind of change, and it's changing the direction of the belt as well. Change what direction things go without, and keeping the side they're on, basically. Now, I do have a blueprint of the station, and it does not let me do this, unfortunately, with F or G. So there is some stuff it just doesn't work on, sadly. But this is really, really nice. This is still a fantastic feature added to vanilla, and the devs did a really good job with it. So the next biggest thing is to do with train stops, guys, and that's what this demonstration is down here. So with train stops, first off, it now kind of shows the number of stops with the same name. But then you have this option here to enable train limits. So if we go down to these stations down here, I've set train limits for them. So on this one, I've enabled it. You have to enable it. And I've set a train limit of 1. And then this station, which I've named the same, so you can see here it's now saying there's 2 stations with this name, I'm also set to 1. And it shows you all the trains here as normal. Okay, now this is where things get interesting. If I send all these trains at once, this guy is going to say destination full, right? Now, this is wonky because I didn't actually put a signal here. If I do that, it's going to let him actually go down to the station. Now, this one is going to sit there and say destination full. Previous to this, it would actually, had this not been red here, so if I get rid of this, previously to this, it would have let the train actually just go and park at the station, behind the signal, and then we would have a problem. But now the train stop limit has been hit, so it's actually just not even letting the train leave the station. And this is huge, guys. This is huge for any bases, particularly mega bases, because it lets you kind of control which outposts things go to or which stations in your base things drop off at by setting these train limits. And I'm going to quickly just throw it back on today here since we've kind of seen the night features. So there you go. This is so nice. There'll be so many use cases for it. You also, I believe you can set this with the logistic net or with the circuit network. I actually didn't recall seeing that in the patch notes, is why I didn't preset it up, because I didn't see it in there and I just now thought of it. But let's see output. So I don't know if there's a signal for this. Maybe we can actually have this. Maybe it's in these options. So set train limits. So there we go. Train limit L. So then what we would do is we would actually use a different combinator. Well, we actually probably could use this. So we could do L, set this to 2, and this theoretically should change to 2. So there we go. That's awesome. And this guy actually would go. So you can see that now changing. He would go if this chain signal weren't here. But there we go. So there's that. Absolutely fantastic feature there. There are a few more things. So you can also now do blueprints, which you kind of could before, decom planner, upgrade planner, and modded selection tools from the map view. So we could place blueprints in the map view in 1.0, but now we can actually blueprint, like take a blueprint, this works with copy and paste as well, from the map view. And then of course we can place it. We could place it in 1.0 as well. You can also select things for deconstruction. So I don't know, well, I'm zooming in, but that's so I could see. I can't select things for deconstruction. Like that, you can upgrade planner stuff if you want, you know, works the same way basically. So this is really awesome. You can actually just do this from the map view. You can like copy paste big builds and stuff, which is super nice. Hovering the alert notification will show arrows on the edge of your screen to point to alert location. So I've purposely like not put chests for these guys to drop off at, so we can actually see this. So if I come over here and I click this, it brings it to the map, but if I just hover it, you can see down in the left hand side of my screen, it's actually like pointing kind of towards where it's at. And if I run over here, you know, kind of follow it, it'll show me, and it will be like, oh, okay, it's right here. And then it actually shows it in a big view right there. So that's really nice. The arrows are a little rough in my opinion, but it's still kind of nice to see exactly where something is. And in addition, you'll notice that this is actually moved. I'm not quite sure why, but they put this GUI on the left-hand side now. So I'm actually interested, like, I think when you craft, it will probably just show up here. But yeah, I'm interested why they moved it here, but they did. So this used to be over here, and now it's over here. There's also a brand new tips and tricks thing, guys. So this came up just when I placed rail signals. It'll kind of come up whenever you do something new. And if you click on it, it actually gives you like automated kind of like previews, like simulations, almost like we saw in the menu of how to do things. But this is actually instructional. So this is so cool. It has like this whole index here. If I look at rail signals, you know, it'll kind of demonstrate this. I can say like mark as red, or I can play the tutorial and all that stuff. And it will go through them. It shows like kind of which ones are like little video things here. You can also search as well, which is really nice. So this is really great, guys. I love this. This is so much cleaner, so much nicer. They did a really great job with this. Let's see. We got that. And so belt dragging is locked into a line, but that can be toggled on and off in the interface. So if we take a belt, I am moving my mouse up and down, you can see, and it's not letting me like paint belts. So this is actually really nice for most cases because, you know, if you're running on belts trying to place, particularly, this makes it easy to just draw on a straight line. Or if me, sometimes like I just can't draw on a straight line to save my life. But this can be turned off in your interface settings if you want to be able to just like paint belts like you normally could. Ghosts can be fast replaced and rotated. So if we take some belt here, we can actually rotate these as ghosts, and then we can actually quick replace the, well, you have to hold shift, but you can quick replace these as ghosts, which is so cool. The rotating particularly is really nice. Let's see. Ghost build can be used to fast replace non-ghost entities. So if I like take this and then ghost replace, it'll it would have my bots do this, and there you go, boom, easy peasy. Let's see. Equipment transfer works on empty equipment grid slots as so same as an empty inventory. So like if I go into here and just shift left click, it just empties everything instead of having to drag one at a time, which is a really nice kind of quality of life feature there. Put our stuff back in. But yeah, so that's super nice. Let's see. Power poles / underground belts by dragging works with ghost building now. So if I hold shift, I mean, obviously my bots are building it, but if I hold shift, you can see it's actually working with dragging. Same with underground belts here. So if we take a bunch of underground belts and ghost build, oh my gosh, this is so nice, guys. This feels so nice. This is really great. Also, powerful ghosts show their connection, as you can see here. Another huge thing, which I know this has been driving people nuts for basically ever, is powerful connections are saved in the blueprints. Okay, so if we take this, let's do something just kind of haphazardly here. So if we do like this, you know, you make your design all really nice and stuff. You can do this by hand. Previously, if you did this, the bots would maybe connect things like in some weird order and you'd have all these crisscross wires. But now, if we take this, this will be preserved here. And this will actually, it will preserve the connections. Now, it does connect randomly to any powerful that's outside the blueprint if there's one in range. So there can be a little wonkiness there, but overall, it maintains all this, which is fantastic. Another big one is they added tags, worker robot, rail signal state, and recipe toggles into the settings on what shows in your map. And this is pretty huge, guys. So if we go into map, there's they revamped some icons here, but there's a few others. So tags, we can toggle on and off. The tag is just the like normal thing that you could add basically, and you can kind of what's one thing that's really nice that they added, as you can see, is if I just do that again, it lets me move it around before I place it. Before I kind of just placed it wherever you clicked, which was a bit annoying. But now you can actually just move it around until you actually click. And then you can turn those on and off, which is super nice. You can also toggle rail signals, so you can see these are all red as they are in the actual world, which is super nice. And it'll show you worker robot stuff. So this was a debug menu option that a lot of people played with, but you had to actually toggle it on and off in the debug menu. But now, if we just say, for example, do this, and then we probably need to actually put a chest down for these guys to dump into so they can work. And when we toggle this on, you can actually now see all your robots moving back and forth, which is super cool. Really, really big fan of this. Also, you can toggle this on to show your recipes. So you can now see every recipe that's set on everything in your map view, and this is so nice, guys. Because before you'd have to kind of like label big sections and stuff. Now you can just see what every single machine is making, and this is brilliant. I love it. This is so nice. I think that's about it for the major changes. There's definitely more though. Graphically, they added unique tech icons for advanced material processing, or a advanced tech icon. So if we search here, you can see advanced material processing. It actually is like an electric furnace now, although it looks slightly lopsided. But instead of just like another version of this, basically, it now actually is what it is, which is awesome. The detailed night lighting of entities is what we showed initially in the night view. Some optimizations. They did multi-threaded belt update logic, which is pretty cool. So belts were already pretty optimized, but it seems like they're even more optimized now. And then just overall small entity update time reduction, stats of how much, and then also stats of how much update time is taken by individual entities. Overall, just general optimizations, as always. Some balancing, which has actually not been done for a while. They changed productivity mods a little bit. Also, you'll notice before, like when you first go into the game, or when you first unlock things, it'll kind of show these like alert things until you mouse over them to show you anything that's new. I unlocked all tech, that's why there's so many of them. But this is mostly for new players and stuff who don't have like the menus memorized and what everything does. Is it kind of just shows these little alerts of like everything new that's unlocked. So there's that. But they changed prod mod 1s and 2s. So prod module 1 decreases speed of machines by 5%, down from 15%. So it used to be 15, it's now 5% speed decrease. And prod 2, which also used to be 15, which didn't make a lot of sense, is now 10. So they've kind of just balanced that a little bit and tiered it a little bit better for those two. They didn't touch prod 3, it doesn't seem like. So there's that, which is interesting. You know, actually, it makes them a little bit better, especially, well, both of them really, but because they used to just be 15, both of them. So some other changes. Closing the closed GUI keybind was renamed to E and confirms instead of exits the GUI. So that's kind of just, you know, kind of what I was showing, just in a GUI generally. So if we do this and then I hit E, it actually confirms it instead of just closing out of it completely and canceling it, which is what it used to do. So that's really nice. and a bit more intuitive. They changed the max temperature of all fluids apart from water and steam to be the same as the default. I'm not really showing this. It doesn't. It's more of just like a. It's more just like a fix almost, I would say. You know, because aside from steam and water, like the other fluids didn't really change temperature in the game at all. So I think it was just kind of an inconsistency they changed. You know, it's not really worth showing. It's just basically going to be that, you know, like lube and petroleum and stuff just all have the same max temperature, which is default because they don't go up and down in temperature in the game. But water and steam will, of course, still do that. Underground belt build by dragging now accepts the existing piece you start building on as part of the dragging logic. So, you know, this kind of just makes it a bit more fluid to just drag on. Just, you know, nice little quality of life change there. They removed the plus and minus buttons for the logistic requests. So before, there used to be a plus minus button down here to expand it basically infinitely, but now it'll just add more as you like hit the end of it. It'll just add another row automatically. In addition, they removed the character GUI, basically. The character like section of this. So in 1.0, they introduced a thing like a section where it was, you know, it was like crafting character, and then what was it? Something else. And then like logistics or something. And they've changed it back to this, which is the old view. I think this is nice. It's a bit more clear. Everything's just in one menu. You only have one set of tabs for crafting instead of like sub tabs, you know, like main tabs and then crafting tabs within crafting. So this is just cleaner. I like it better. This is what a lot of people are used to. Let's see. The cut tool now properly includes trains. I guess previously it showed them, but actually ignored them. I didn't know that, but that's pretty nice. They changed the hitbox of artillery turrets. So you can actually now squeak through them, basically. Kind of like you can with boilers and steam engines. You can actually just now fit through them, which you couldn't before. Even though it doesn't look like you can, which is awesome. And they removed the rocket silo stats GUI, which concerns me slightly. It says products finished, so it still shows that. That's what I was worried about them removing. I think it was just maybe some bloat information and stuff like that. But if it still shows the amount of parts built and such like that, that's really the important thing. So see all these tooltips popping up. With the GUI, they added unique icons for technology effects, so you can see like particularly with upgrade things. So energy weapon damage, you can see it. They added these like little target things, and then when you mouse over it, it actually tells you specifically what it affects, like personal laser defense, laser turret distractors, destroyers. Kind of, you know, this is just a better indicator, I think, of what everything does. You know, this is saying like this increases the damage of these types of things like ammo, turrets, shotgun ammo and stuff. And then it, you know, like this, it actually says specifically what ammo, also defender capsules, etc. So that's kind of nice. Let's see. When entering a vehicle, so yeah, when entering, this is kind of weird worded weird. When entering a vehicle, the vehicle window is shown next to the character gun window instead of replacing it. So you can see here, instead of replacing it, it's now actually an additional thing to it, which is kind of interesting. I think that's nice because, you know, sometimes you may forget like what ammo you personally had on and stuff like that, or what gun was equipped. They removed character tab, which I covered. Added held stack item slot for inserter window. So this is kind of nice. This is like, if I take this out, let's clear all this out, and then I will remove this. If I hover over this, you'll see it kind of just shows what the insert is grabbing right here. And this is kind of a new inserter window as well. Just cleaner. I think it's really nice to kind of actively see what it's picking up, even though you can usually visually see it here. Improve the tips and tricks window, which I went over. Added, I like these last two. Added usage instructions to capsules and fish. So if we go over here to capsules, it actually, you know, well, reduces the movement speed of affected enemies. Poison capsule actually doesn't have instructions, which is interesting. And then if we go find some fish, it should have some usage instructions on it. In addition, for the fish, they fixed this so the fish tooltip shows consumption healing instead of shooting and damage, which was pretty funny. So you can see here, left click to consume now that we actually know how to do it, and consumption speed 2 a second, and heal 80 physical. I still think it's a little deceiving to have the effect be like that little target icon. I mean, that's, I guess, generally just an effect thing, but a little deceiving. Still really helpful there. I like the little fish skeleton for consumed. They did a great job there. And that's actually going to be it, guys. So this was still a fairly long thing because there were a lot of awesome changes. There were a bunch, probably literally like 100, 150 bug fixes, which aren't really worth necessarily going through. You can read them in the patch notes, which I will link in the description. But a ton of bug fixes. So definitely worth reading the patch notes as well. I kind of just took notes myself of the main things. There's some stuff I didn't cover that is just kind of minor or like really, really difficult to show. One thing I am just myself interested in is I'm interested in if you craft. Okay, so it does still put it here. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they actually moved this. I'm still curious about that, but it does show your crafting here, so it's not like they completely reversed it. But there you go, guys. That is the main stuff in 1.1. Awesome things, definitely worth upgrading. Again, though, it is experimental, so it will break pretty much all your mods, and just make sure to back up your saves and stuff, because who knows what could happen. But overall, absolutely fantastic change. Tons of Spidertron improvements, train improvements, map view improvements, blueprint flipping and stuff, both vertically and horizontally, and mirroring is super great. I love this so much. Is a last little caveat thing here. I want to see if it lets me flip this if it's not. Okay, so it actually does if the station's not included. So if you want to, you know, because before when you would rotate it, this is just normal R when you would rotate it. Just imagine this here. It would kind of do this, which isn't necessarily what you want. So if you do want to flip stuff on here, just don't include the station, and it will literally just flip it to the opposite side like you would want it to. And then this kind of actually just moves it down a little bit. I mean, it is flipping it basically, but since the track doesn't show any indication. Yeah, so if you want to do that, just get rid of the station. It just doesn't really support the station flipping. But yeah, this is super awesome, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If there's any questions or there's anything major I forgot, please let me know down in the comments. If you did enjoy, a like is very much appreciated, so other folks can find the video and hopefully find it helpful as well. If you are new to the channel and content, feel free to subscribe to keep up with all the Factorio goodness I am putting out on the channel here. And until next time, guys, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.